What's up guys, today I'm finally going to be going over one of my most requested videos. Every time I upload any video about 1-2 punch or anything like that, I always get asked what it's like on the Titan build and the Warlock build. So in this video we will be using the Liar's Handshake Hunter build and comparing it to the Titan build with Wormgod Caress on Bottom Tree Striker with Thunder Coil and seeing how that is. Then finally we will also be doing it on Warlock with Winter's Guile, and that is pretty much all Warlock really has going for it, but just to see what Warlock can do, we will also be doing that. So first, looking at the Hunter build, which we've talked about a lot of times, so we're just going to quickly go through it. It's obviously with Liar's Handshake, with Top Tree Arc Strider, then also Thunder Coil. And the base melee damage on Greg is 4903. Now with the full combo, as you see right here, without Thunder Coil, we hit 108,000. Now with Thunder Coil on, it should be 50% more. Now hitting 162,000. So the Hunter 1-2 punch build without Thunder Coil is 22.12x, then with Thunder Coil it's 33.18x, so that's actually still pretty good. And the thing that is really nice about the Hunter build is with Combination Blow, which is the main perk that requires you to get kills in the first place and stack the perk up to ×3. It has a 20-second timer on it, which makes it very easy to use on boss fights and things like that. And for ad clear, it's very easy to keep it going at all times. And on boss fights, it's very realistic to be able to get 3 kills before the damage phase or right at the beginning of the damage phase and do the full combo for the entire boss fight, because of the fact you have that 20-second window to get another kill to keep Combination Blow going, so it's very easy to keep up, which means it has really good sustained DPS and damage output. Now looking at the Titan build with Wormgod Caress, which is going to be another melee damage increase exotic, that's going to stack a lot like Winter's Guile. So it's going to be a perk that stacks up to ×5 and only has a 5-second window, it says 4, but the game counts 0 seconds as a full second for perks. I don't know why, it should just say 5 in the first place, but you have 5 seconds to get the kill, and when you do, it resets it back to that 5 seconds, and with ×5 you hit 36,000 on Greg, which is going to be 7.5x melee damage, which is very high. Then on Bottom Tree Striker, you also have the perk Knockout, where critically wounding an enemy or breaking their shield increases your melee range and damage. And there's also another perk where you get health on melee kills. So without Knockout, we hit 4903 like normal. Then with it, we hit 7845, which is going to be a 1.6x modifier, which is pretty good. And is more or less going to pretty much correspond with your Wormgod Caress perk. And then finally, we have Thunder Coil, which is on this season artifact, which might be leaving after this season. And one thing to know about this perk is you actually need your melee charge for this to work. And as you see, without I hit 4903, now with it I hit 7355, which is going to be a 1.5x increase when you have your arc melee charge. So now looking at the damage on Greg, first without Thunder Coil on, if you add up all the different things, you should be doing exactly 36 times melee damage, so getting up to ×5, then going to hit him. And sure enough, I hit 176,000, which is exactly 36 times the base melee damage on Greg, so the math checks out. Now when we put Thunder Coil back on, something weird happens that is actually very good for this build. As mentioned before, usually you need your arc melee charge to be able to proc Thunder Coil's perk, but when you have Knockout procced on Bottom Tree Striker, every single melee is an arc melee as you see, which means you get that 50% buff no matter what, even if you don't have your melee charge. And I tried that multiple times, and once again, it worked every single time. And just for fun, I actually got my arc melee charge by using Monte Carlo to see if it changed anything. And as you see, same number, 264,000. So you don't actually need your arc melee charge, and you pretty much have that 50% buff at all times, which means the full combo on Titan is 54 times base melee damage, which is much higher than that of the Hunter build. But the only thing is, once you have the full combo going, you pretty much only have time for 2 combos where you shoot in double melee before all the perks run off. And during that time, you are going to be doing well over 1 million damage, so pretty much whoever is getting that combo will probably die anyways. Also, this combo feels a lot better for Ackler than even the Hunter build. It's going to be even higher melee damage, then you don't have to twirl and do backflip between every single kill like you do on Hunter. So it's going to be a lot easier, you just swing like crazy, there's a lot of aim assist, and the melee lunges pretty far, you get health back on melee kill. So it's very good and very easy to do. The only thing is it's not going to be very good for things like raid bosses and things like that. Finally on Warlock, pretty much the only thing you have going for it is going to be Winter's Guile, which is going to be pretty much the exact same as Wormgod Caresses. So once again, this perk stacks up to ×5, and you have a 5-second window to reproc the perk, and once it's at ×5, all the kills do is refresh the timer. And once again, on Greg, it should be the exact same number, 36,000 number, which is going to be exactly that 7.5x damage. Pair that with 1-2 punch, and now you do 110,000 on Greg. And you can pair this with Thunder Coil on an arc subclass, but unlike Titan, you actually need your melee charge. As you see right here, without the melee charge, exact same damage. What you can do is use Monte Carlo to get your arc melee back after you get ×5 going, which is very RNG dependent. As you see right here, I don't get the full melee charge on 2 different kills, I lose the perk, it's not very consistent and definitely not worth doing. Instead, what makes a lot of sense to me is using Devour with Oppressive Darkness, and Devour will keep you alive by getting that health back every time you play aggressively trying to get melee kills. And then when you run into the target that you need the more damage on, you just throw the nade and get that 30% debuff going. It's not going to be quite the 50% of Thorn Coil, but it's a lot easier to do. The Devour will keep you alive, and with that full build, you're going to be doing 29.25x melee damage, which is pretty good, but once again, very hard to do, and not very realistic. So there's pretty much no reason to ever do the Warlock 1-2 punch build. It's a lower total combo than the Hunter build, which is a lot easier to do. So there's pretty much no reason to ever do the Warlock one over the Hunter one. On the other hand, the Titan one is pretty much just as hard as the Warlock one to keep up, but you're going to be doing a lot more melee damage with the full combo going than the Hunter one, so it's actually worth that extra effort you have to do to keep it going. It's still going to be very hard to do on a lot of boss fights in the game, especially raid and strike bosses, and a lot of those encounters there's not going to be a lot of red bars during the actual damage phase, and if there are, it's going to be very hard to get 5 kills very quickly, then get to the boss and actually get a few combos off before all the perks run off, compared to the Hunter one where you have that 20-second window and it's going to be a lot more realistic to do in those scenarios. So the Titan one feels more like an ad clear combo where you're just going to be swinging at everything left and right. Then if there is a high health target that gets in the way during your ad clear, it's going to be very easy to take care of them. And there might be a few situations where even in boss fights you might get 1 or 2 full combos off on the boss, and that's going to be a lot of damage very quickly. But once again, the Hunter one's going to be a lot more consistent in those encounters. So overall, it feels like the Warlock one is pretty much useless. The Titan one is going to be really good for ad clear and just general play, while the Hunter one is going to be very good for boss fights. Anyways, let me know which one of these is your favorite to do. I actually really like the Titan one, and I can see myself actually playing it more in the future. Anyways, thanks for watching. Catch you guys next time.